Hating selling almost killed my business. I used to dread it. Seriously, I avoided selling like the plague. But now, discovery calls, sales conversations, they're one of my favorite things to do. So, what changed? My mindset and the strategies I put into action. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through specific ways you can sell your services without selling your soul. If you've ever felt awkward, icky, or just plain uncomfortable selling yourself as a coach or consultant, this one's for you. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, your guide to elevating your brand, offers, and systems as a coach, consultant, or service provider. I'm Annie Franceschi of Greatest Story Creative. I'm a brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. If you're ready for next level success, we'll get clear on your brand, package your process, and streamline your systems so you can land quality clients, boost profit, and make time for big dreams in your business and beyond. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. Hating selling almost killed my business. I used to worry that selling was all about pushing something on people, and that made me feel really, really uncomfortable. And I reached a point very early on in my practice, the first couple of years, where my clients dried up. I was having people ghost me from proposals, and I was like, oh, gosh, what is this? And I really felt like it had something to do with selling, but I didn't want to deal with what I thought that meant. I thought I had to become a sleazy salesperson to be good at selling and to actually make money as a brand consultant. Thankfully, I didn't have to figure that out by myself. I ended up meeting a woman named Adele Michael. And Adele's not the singer. She's even better. She's a business mindset coach. And I saw her speak once, and she got up and she basically said that she helps women sell with authenticity, sell from a place of confidence and ease. And I was like, shoot, I don't know if I believe in coaches, but I believe in that. So I worked with Adele and we did a VIP day together. And I thought she was going to help me with practical sales strategies. But what she actually helped me do was to own my confidence and to start on a journey to selling with ease. If you want to know more about that, it's in the introduction to my book, Establish Yourself. I give away the first 50 pages for free. So if you actually want to read that story, I'll drop the link in the show notes. But what I really want you to know is that Adele was one of the first people who helped me to realize that sales, at its very best and most ethical, is about helping people. It's about service, not about pressure. That shift changed so much for me. And today I want to help you make that shift too. So let's dive into 3 ways that you can sell with authenticity. Sales is this weird thing that we all have to do, but we kind of also look away from it. We're like, "Ugh, I don't want to be that person." But here's the truth. If you don't sell your services, you don't have a business. So how do we fix that? When nobody wants to be the sleazy salesperson, you got to find another way. We can't just avoid the topic altogether. I want to give you 3 key mindset shifts you can use right away. Literally on that next call on your calendar this week, it's going to go differently because we're going to approach it differently together. If I can go from hating sales to having it be a favorite part in my business, I have so much hope it can be that for you too. The first way to sell with authenticity is to recognize that sales is service. Sales is not about pushing, it's about helping. When someone comes to a discovery call with you, they're already in some sort of discomfort. They have a problem and they're helping that you can help them solve it. In my work with Adele, I was saying, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I had this huge fear of that. And she was one of the earliest people in my entrepreneurial life to say, Annie, people coming to these conversations are already uncomfortable. They are struggling with something. They are feeling a certain way. They need help. The last thing you need to worry about is creating that discomfort. You're there to alleviate it, to help them at least get some clarity around what they can do to feel better. So you are not the source of the discomfort. You may potentially be the solution. We're talking to a potential ideal client about working together. We want to show up to that conversation and really separate ourselves from our most ideal outcome. I think embracing sales as a service means showing up to these conversations with the expectation that you're not there to get that person on the other side of the Zoom call or the other side of the coffee table to hire you. You are there to listen and to help the person across from you get the solution they need. It's a big difference because you want to show up and make sure that they're getting the service they need. If they are struggling with X, are you the right person to solve that? Or is somebody else a better partner? Is some other resource a better partner? This is where your job is really just to be a matchmaker. And hopefully we can release some of that fear of pushing on people if we come to these conversations with an understanding that not every fish is our fish. And not every person we're going to talk to is going to be a fit for what we do. And we should feel zero pressure to sell someone on our services or solutions. It is really more about listening and going, yes, if you do have the solution, to match them to that, but to really be honest with yourself and others. That's how you're going to show up with authenticity and really connect to the people who really need you. I had a very recent experience with this. I was interviewing a new counselor and she hopped on the call, and I had some very specific things that I had gone through that were specific specialty areas that I wanted to make sure whoever I was going to work with in this really important container of working with a therapist that they understood and had some life experience with. And so when I asked directly, like, hey, so here's what I'm struggling with, do you have direct experience with that? Rather than say the truth, which was no, she danced around it and said, well, I do this, that, and the third, and therapy can help with those things, etc. I asked a very direct question. She gave me a very indirect answer. And the vibe I got was, oh, she really just wants to serve me and is just talking about like ways she can help. I also got the vibe that this was a person who was newer in her practice. And this is a sales call, right? This is assessing fit and trying to figure out, would this person be a great therapist for me? And I would have valued it so much more if she had directly answered my question, said, Annie, I don't have experience with X, Y, and Z, but here's what I do have experience with. If you feel like you really need a specialist, let me think about who I know that I could refer you to, right? She would have better met my need, and I would have had a better impression of her when I would go to refer people who she is the specialist for, right? So that's about recognizing that not every fish is your fish, and to take the pressure off to be the right solution for every single person you talk to. I have been in business for over a decade, so I'll tell you that this is the big picture play. And this is the thing that gets clients coming back and gets them referring you, is when they can trust you and have conversations with you because they know that you're not there to sell the latest thing you're selling. You are there to listen to their problems, to match them to the thing you're selling, if that's the solution, or to get them to the right person. That's how we start to build that authenticity brand. That's how we build trust. That's how we get those great referrals for the long haul. It's not about just getting the sale today, it's about being in business for years to come. So that's the first thing. Sales is service. The next way to sell without sleaze: sell like a doctor, not a friend. This is one of the biggest mistakes I made very early on. Is I would show up to sales calls and be like your best friend. Like, oh, you need a logo and you need a website. Like, you can do it. I believe in you. We're going to tell your story. Or, like, you can do it too. You might not even need me. I was so wanting someone to be comfortable and encouraged that I was literally like chucking my credibility at the door. I wanted so badly not to be pushy that I overcorrected and was super casual with people. Maybe that feels good to you too, but I want you to think about, what if you were sick and you went to the doctor and you explained your symptoms, and the doctor said, well, we could do this prescription and this rehab, and like, or you could figure it out. Like, I just believe in you. I just know you're going to get better, and I'm sorry you're sick. If they said that to you, you would hightail it out of that room, right? You'd be like, what a quack. Where did he go to medical school? You know, We want to show up as the doctor. We want to show up to these conversations not as someone's friend. Yes, we're there to encourage, but we're not somebody's friend. We're showing up as a potential expert who can provide a solution to a problem or meet a need that someone has. Just the way you would go to the doctor when you're sick, you're looking for help, you want the expert with the medical degree on the wall. How are you showing up like that? People want to know, like, and trust you. And this is where the trust really comes into action. So, we want to show up and not cede our credibility immediately. We can be compassionate, empathetic listeners, and I think we should be. I want you to not just show up and sell as the doctor and not the friend. I want you to show up as the compassionate, caring doctor that we wish we all had to help people get the right resource. And again, going back to not every fish is your fish, pressure off here. If you see the patient, you see your potential client, and you really genuinely feel like you're not the right fit for them, refer them to a specialist. They're going to thank you for it. They're going to build that trust. That's what we want to do. As coaches and consultants, we do have expertise. People come to us for guidance. When we show up with authority and a clear recommendation, we're going to actually build trust, not lose it. And that's going to lead to more clients and better referrals. So we want to show up as the expert and not the best buddy. The third way to sell without sleaze is to make it an easy yes. How can we show up and make it so easy to work with us? This is one where I think, one, coaches and consultants don't think, how easy is my sales process? And two, it's not. On many websites I go to, because I see coaches and consultants websites all the time, I have to go searching for how I talk to you, how I make that first connection. Ideally, you want to have a super easy button like in my website. If you go to greateststorycreative.com right now on your phone, whether you see it on your phone or on your website, there's going to be a big red button that says free consultation. Are you being clear about what you want people to do and making it easy to talk to you? You may not realize it, but you might be making it crazy hard for your ideal clients to hire you and to even have a discovery call. If I go to your website and I can't very quickly figure out how to book a free call with you or understand what it is you do, that's a problem. That's stopping people in their tracks and making it difficult when we want to make it so easy. When you think of times that you've invested in things at hundreds or thousands of dollars, how easy was it to do that? How quickly did you make that decision when it was easy? You want to make this simple. You want to have a clear offer. You want to have a button at the top of your website that tells people what you want them to do to contact you, to set a free consultation. You want to be so clear on what you offer that you have at least a one-page PDF that's like, hey, here's what I do and here's how we can work together. When people come to a conversation, they come to your discovery call. Are you prepared to talk about what you do? Can you talk through your offer? Do you have a visual to walk them through? It's like, as I've said in episode 12, that you want to make sure that you're presenting brunch to people. If you go to the restaurant and you just say, well, we have eggs, we can make you anything you want, that's confusing. We want to make it an easy yes. And it's such an easier yes to offer people something you've thought through, something that's a clear solution to their problems, than to put it on others to imagine or to ask or to make a special request as to what they even want. It is a dance, right? We are going to customize what we do, but it is just so important that we make it an easier yes for people. So, sleaze free selling has a lot to do with streamlined selling, simplified selling. Selling doesn't feel like selling to you or to a client when you have a thoughtful offer and you make it very clear and easy as to what it is, who it's for, and how to work with you. Seems a little easier when I say it like that, right? One of the best ways I work on this is through my framework I call Package Your Process. Package Your Process is something I teach people both in a 5-week group experience and in a one-to-one format called Package Your Process with the Expert. No matter how I help coaches and consultants do this work, it always comes down to getting clear on what you do, how to talk about it, and being able to present a clear offer in a simple, compelling way, like an offer one-pager. So that's the big lesson here. We're going to make sure that we do sales as service, that we sell as the doctor and not the friend, that we make it easy to say yes. If these are things that you would like practical strategies for how to do, or you love my help and advice on how to do things like talk confidently about what you're offering, how to have a sales conversation that doesn't feel icky or sleazy, I am teaching these things at Package Your Process Accelerator, which is coming up on April 9th. This is a 5-week group experience. And by week 5, you will actually get to practice these skills and show up with confidence at our referral party. So if that's been something that's on your mind, we do have a few seats left. You can learn more about it at packageyourprocess.com. If you are working on these things and you are curious about Package Your Process Accelerator or my one-to-one version where I work with you to get clear on how to sell without sleaze and what it is you're selling and how to talk about it, I am offering free 15-minute touch bases this week. So if you just want to chat with me to say, hey, Annie, I'm curious about what you do. Tell me a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's a fit for me or the season I'm in business. I'm actually literally putting a scheduling link here in the show notes. So if this is at all on your radar and you're like, okay, I do want to package my expertise. I listened to episode 11, which I shared the first 3 steps of packaging your process. And today, the 4th step, which is sleaze free selling. If you are curious about how to work together, just me and you, or working together in that really fun action driven cohort coming up, set 15 minutes to talk with me. No strings attached. You know exactly how it's going to go. And if I do any sleazy selling, you have the right to report me to the sleazy sales cops. I'm happy to talk with you to help you have confidence to talk about what you do because what you do is so valuable. And if you feel like you've been worried about it and are worried about bothering people, we got to usher in a new era. Because one of the things I always like to say is that you won't sell what you don't sell. If you don't talk about what you do, nobody knows it exists and they can't work with you, which means you can't change lives, businesses, or both. And I want to help you do that. So if you're ready to package your process and sell without sleaze, very simple. Set a 15-minute chat with me this week. We'll get to know each other and I'll help you take the next step forward. Hey, do you like surprises? Here comes the show's credits, but just like a Marvel movie, stay to the end so you don't miss something fun I put in just for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi and I want to hear from you. Follow me on LinkedIn. Share your favorite takeaway from today's episode as a comment on my latest post. Mention your favorite Muppet in your message so I know you're a fan of the show. And for expert branding help, a free consultation, and more resources, visit greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now, here it is, your moment of magic. So speaking of doctors, I took my son, Leo, to his 5-year-old checkup appointment. When Leo is being a ham, maybe more than I've ever seen him at the doctor's office. And the doctor goes, hey, Leo, what's your favorite food? And he goes, boogers. I mean, I'm like, of course he's going to say like candy or something. But no, he said the worst possible thing and the funniest possible thing because, of course, right? Of course, that's my child. So there you go.